Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Eduard. It's a limited edition kit and it comes in 1/72 scale, so you can see that it is named as Angel of Mercy, and this is quite interesting limited edition because it packs Hasegawa plastic inside. Obviously Eduard does not have any B25 kits in their range, but this limited edition will give you a chance to assemble some interesting markings, and of course it should be containing some additional bonuses and, let's say, things from Eduard, so it will be interesting to see what is actually included in this nice simple box. So first of all, as I said, box art is simple and elegant. As you can see, we have this aircraft on the green background, and here you can see comparison in my hand. It's a classic Eduard box size. Here on the side you can see 5 marking options which are included into this kit. As you can see, there are combined both silver finish and also green aircraft, but we will talk about this when we will be checking the marking guides. And here you can see some information about this kit. So we have decals for 10 markings, and also we have Hasegawa plastic parts, Eduard P details and masks, and of course there is also a small bonus in form of Resin wheels. And by the way, here you can see also the price, so it should be around $65 US. And here on the other side you can see 5 other marking options which are also quite colorful. I mean, the main difference is the nose art obviously, but we will get to check them a bit closer and when we will be looking into the marking guide, as I said before. So let's open it. It's a top opening box, and here's what we have inside. So all frames are packed into this one plastic bag, and here on the bottom we have assembly manual. I can see there is also a tiny decal sheet. I guess it is errata to fix some, let's say, issues on the decal sheet. By the way, the plastic bag is sealed, so I'm going to cut through it and then we will take a closer look together. In the meantime, I would like to remind you that you can support us with a small donation. We have a special button on our website and it's done via PayPal, so it's easy and safe, and of course you decide how much we will get, but all this money will be used in order to improve our reviews or maybe get some interesting kits which will be reviewed in these videos and maybe even build them later. Who knows? So here we have another sealed plastic bag. It carries clear sprue. Obviously it is done in order to avoid any accidental scratches or damage to clear parts, so that's why I'm going to open it right now. And by the way, we did not review B25 kit from Hasegawa, so that's why it will be interesting to see it closer, and that's basically the first time we are checking it. And by the way, this plastic bag with the clear sprue, it also featured this vinyl polycaps, but I guess there is no need to show them closer because we all know such type of parts and there is nothing special about them, but I can guess they will be used maybe for propellers and landing gear wheels. So here you can see clear parts. Molding quality seems to be fine, and this is a typical Hasegawa quality, so there is nothing to complain about. And as you remember, Eduard also gives you masks, so these are pre-cut masks. We will check them a bit later, and they will be applied on all canopy parts, so it will considerably speed up the assembly process and make it easier to paint the model, because otherwise it will be a bit tedious to cut out all these small squares and try to make them precise. It will be even more complicated. Next we start with gray sprue. So here we have 2 fuselage halves, and maybe I will zoom out and open the camera a bit, or lenses I mean. So here we have 2 fuselage halves. Both are molded without tail fairings. As you can see, this tail section will be installed as a separate sub-assembly. The same can be said about this end. And these are engine gondolas halves. And as for the external features, I can zoom in as much as it is possible. So here you can take a look that we have recessed panel lines and everything looks cool. Attachment points are thin enough in order to carefully separate these parts. And as I said, this is something what you are used to see in Hasegawa kits, so there is nothing different. And if I flip it over, inside in the fuselage house you'll find some features for the interior. We have also guiding elements, so it will be relatively easy to combine these parts together, even though I would say they're quite large for 1/72 scale. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Next, we continue with smaller sprue. It is noticeably smaller because it carries only the middle inserts or bulkheads which will be inserted in the fuselage. We also have various landing gear doors here, but these parts will be really important because wingspan should be relatively big for such scale, so pay attention how your wings will be installed on your model because it's really important in order to avoid any sagging issue on your aircraft. Okay, next we continue with two identical plastic sprues. Here they are, so I will show you only one because they carry the same set of parts. And here we have one-piece propeller. We also have landing gear wheel halves. So here we have one side, and on this second sprue, well, basically we have two halves which should be combined together. But as you remember, Eduard provides us with resin parts, so that's why we won't be using this plastic thing, because obviously resin alternative is way more detailed. But it's nice to see this front section of the cowling which is molded as a single piece part. Here you can see it, and it will make it easier to assemble the model. And what else? Engine parts look decent as well. Maybe I'll zoom in even closer so that you can see them. And I think maybe we'll see that there are some P parts going into the engine. And here you can check everything from the opposite side. Okay. Next, again, large plastic sprue. This one comes with mix of various parts, so I should zoom out a bit. And here we have the tail wing. We have also tail fins together with these rudders on both. Here we have also nose landing gear wheel. We have landing gear legs, main and nose one. We have also some interior parts in the corner and some machine guns here. So I guess we should zoom in and take a look at the left upper corner and then continue by moving to the opposite side of this frame. But everything looks clean and crisp, so it's just a matter of careful separation and gluing everything together, and I don't think that you will have any issues here. And overall, I do not see any flash on the parts. And even though this is a, let's say, relatively old kit, still it looks decent and there shouldn't be any issue with it. Final frame is the same in the size. Here we have wing halves, so as you remember, each side of the wing should be glued out of two halves, and we have separate engine gondolas. External features include again recessed panel lines and rivets, but we have ailerons molded in, flaps are also molded in. Frankly speaking, on such big model I would rather expect them as a separate parts. Maybe Eduard will release some upgrade set in order to fix it, but for now, as far as I know, there are no such kit available, so you will have to think through if you would like to get a bit more realistic appearance, but it looks fine for out of the box build, so I don't think you have any issues here. And on the opposite side you can see some guiding elements which will definitely come handy for easier alignment of these parts together. Okay, so that's all for the plastic parts. Next we can proceed with resin parts, which are supplied in the separate plastic bag. So I'll zoom in as much as I can because these parts are not that big. As you remember, we are dealing with 1/72 scale aircraft. Nevertheless, these landing gear wheels are notably more detailed than original plastic parts, so it's just a matter of careful painting and installation. And of course they will be covered, literally covered, with masks, so you don't have to worry about any painting issues because it will be quite easy to deal with it. But there is a separate plastic bag with PE frets, and yes, there are 2 frets actually, and that's quite a nice surprise from Eduard. So just give me a second to remove these parts of the table. and I will show you PE parts. So here they are. One is unpainted fret and another one is pre-painted because it carries some cockpit elements, and everything looks cool. We have some engine parts here and there, and as I said, it will add some fine features. Note that even landing gear legs, they will be also tackled with these unpainted parts. But the size of these parts is really tiny, so it's better to use some tweezers. Otherwise, it will be a tricky thing to install and easy one to lose, especially on your carpet. Next, we continue with a separate plastic bag with mask sheet. This one is traditional product for Eduard. As you can see, these are pre-cut masks. We have masks for the canopy, we have masks for landing gear wheels, as I said before. So all the necessary things will be covered out of the box, and these masks are ready to be used straight away because they're pre-cut. Next, we have this small decal sheet with a errata symbol nose art for the model, so you have to use this symbol. Be careful and pay attention which one you will be applying on your model, especially if you choose this marking. Next, we continue with a large plastic bag which is dedicated to one decal sheet, which is quite surprising, frankly speaking. I thought that it will take more space for all the symbols, for all the marking options, but good thing is that I can see here segmentation. So if I zoom out a bit, let's close the lenses so that it won't be that bright. So you can see we have segmentation here. It will make it easier to get the necessary symbols. You get all the signs and all the insignia together with the nose arts in one section for one particular marking. So you just cut out this section and use all the symbols on it. And printing quality looks really good. It comes from Eduard, so there is no wonder. We have stencils included. And here, I guess, yeah, we have some decals for the cockpit. So in case you are not that eager to use PE instrument panel, you can use this decal. But in my opinion, that's a really strange thing to do because PE part is obviously superior to the decal. Next, we continue with assembly manual. So this one is printed in form of large brochure. It should be familiar to you if you already assembled some of Eduard kits. As you can see, we have the same images on the box art, and inside you'll find parts map here. Only few parts will not be used, and landing gear parts are one of them, so surprise, surprise. Assembly process starts with the right fuselage half. As you can see, you will have to glue in some internal elements, for example for the bomb bay. Next, we continue with the opposite fuselage half, and then you will have to decide which landing gear. Actually, that's not a landing gear, that's a instrument panel. Sorry, I was looking here on the bomb bay again. But for the instrument panel, you'll have to decide whether you would like to use PE part or decal. Note that some original plastic parts will have to be deleted in order to replace them with PE parts, which is really great because it will give you more features in your model. And as you can see, you will get to install seat belts. Also, you have to replace some internal cockpit elements, and I guess it should be visible through the canopy because this aircraft has relatively large canopy. So it's just a matter of careful look inside the aircraft and you will notice all the changes. Next, we continue with this middle section, which will be holding wings in place. And next, you can see that it actually joins two fuselage halves together because these spars, they will go through the fuselage halves. We also install the nose section here together with the landing gear leg and wheel. Obviously, you can leave the front wheel aside and paint it separately. Next, we continue with main landing gear legs. Here you can see what I was talking about. So we replace this section of the landing gear leg together with PE part, and then we install resin wheels. Then you assemble engine gondolas and also install them on the wings. Here you get to assemble the engine, upgrade it with these ignition lines, which are replicated with help of PE parts, and then you install this cooling section. Next, you do not glue the propeller. Here you assemble the tail section with machine gunner. Place and then you proceed with the top turret. As you can see, it should be also assembled separately, and there are some parts which should be erased from the original plastic. Then we install all this stuff together with the photo-etched sub-assembly. Here you install so you glue the fiber maximum of 0.06 diameter in order to replicate this antenna, as far as I can guess. And next you proceed with various antennas and vertical stabilizers. As you can see, they should be installed as PE parts. Next, here whole page is dedicated to masking guide, so you have to follow these instructions in order to mask not only the canopy and landing gear wheels, but also some of the external elements and position lights. And here we start with marking options. So these two aircraft, they come from April 1945, and they have quite interesting markings on nose arts. Next we continue with two more aircraft. This one is from February 1944, this one is from France 1945. Here we have December 1945, April 1945. Next is another aircraft from April 1945 and one more from 1945 Philippines. Next we have two green aircraft. This one is from November 1944 and another one is from April 1945. And here we have stenciling guide for this aircraft. As you can see, there are a lot of stencils, so do not be lazy and apply them all on your model. And here on the last page you can see some brassing upgrades for this kit. So we have exterior set, bomb base set, ammunition belts, we have various types of bombs and machine guns. So it's pretty much extensive, I would say, upgrade choice if you would like to spend a bit more and get some fine features on your aircraft. So all in all, we get a really interesting limited edition with Hasegawa plastic inside. Even though it might be familiar to some of you, still there are quite interesting markings together with good decals inside, so I guess it will find its own, let's say, owners, and I don't think that it will be alive or it will be available for quite a long time. So if you would like to get one, it's better to hurry. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such a list. Write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!